Welcome back, everybody, to the Nerdcore Podcast, the podcast reviews movies and talks that nerd shit. This is episode 710, and it is your review of Beanpole as we continue our International Film Month here at the Nerdcore. As always, the nerds going to hear the host show, my for co-host Brad, Young Yoda.
What's up, everybody? We're on a wonderful, wonderful Monday night.
Live, early, and ad-free over on patreon.com/the nerdcore at the $1 tier. You get this episode along with the Saturday episodes, live, early, and ad-free on Thursdays and Mondays for our Tuesday episodes. But before we can get into today's review, Brad, how are you doing today?
Doing well, Raul. Doing well. And to all our listeners out there who wandered in here thinking this is about Jack and the Beanstalk, please leave. Leave at this point. This review is not for you.
Yeah. So yeah, man. Brad, what you get up to today, man?
Nothing much. Just went to work. It was work.
Work.
Nothing really amazing to say about it. So
yeah, that's usually how it is.
Huh? Yeah. Unfortunately, some days are just like that.
I went. So I had no work today. I went ahead and I went to the film lab with my with Rachel, and we stopped at a TJ Maxx, and I bought a costume for Nola. Oh, I was trying to get one for Maya, but yeah, it ended up fitting Nola better. So she's a hot dog.
Has Rachel seen Beanpole before?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's
Rachel's not as high on it as you are. I mean, as I am. I'm sorry.
There is somewhat of a resemblance to one of the characters to Rachel, and you may not see it, but like I was like, this kind of looks like Rachel.
Talking about the redhead?
Yeah, like slight resemblance.
Yeah, I think I'd be more inclined to relieve it if Rachel was more like Slavic, but Rachel's not Slavic at all.
No, but yeah,
but yeah. I mean, I'll let them know you said that.
Yeah, I mean, it's like the Russian version of Rachel, I guess.
Yeah. So I bought Nola a little hot dog costume, and I bought some toys for the girls.
The hot dog costume is pretty cute.
Yeah, it's pretty funny, right?
Yeah, that made me go onto Temu looking for like little dog costumes, like for Dill.
Everything else. Why are you using Temu?
Because it's cheap. Damn it.
Okay, man, but
and I'm cheap.
The minute it like disintegrates when you get home, okay.
Yeah, well, it was $10.
Okay, yeah. I also committed a brain fart yesterday. I forgot that I don't know why I set the stream to unlisted on YouTube. So I was like, wait, what the fuck? Why wasn't it on YouTube? And like, why was Stacy the only one watching us on Twitch?
That's way.
So yeah, I ended up doing that. So a little brain fart. Oh, it happens every now and then to the best of me. Yeah,
it is what it is.
It is what it is. But other than that, just finished watching this movie and play a little bit of Fortnite. That's it, man.
There you go.
But that's all. I just been kicking it today, man. I go back to work tomorrow and doing the night shift tomorrow, so that's gonna be fun. But other than that, just
you sound thrilled.
It's fine. Like it's just night shift. Just riding the bus at night, bro.
Yeah.
It's not.
That's not overly fun.
No, it's not. And that's just how it is sometimes. That's what I got. That's my sacrifice I have to make to work, and it's okay. It's gonna be all right. I'll be fine. But yeah, I know that if I ever do actually feel unsafe, I'll just get off and call an Uber. It's like it's not gonna be the end of the world, right? But yeah,
that's true.
But yeah. But other than that, man, that's all I got going on, man. Today, actually, I was debating between this film or a different film, and I went ahead and I picked this one. And
yes, you did.
Yeah, well, there's one film I really want to show Brad, and I think that I really need to ease him into that because I just can't drop that movie I want to drop on him, but. If I can just get him to to experience more of these Russian films, I think it'll be easier when he finally gets to the film I'm trying to show him.
Yeah, I mean that's probably
yeah. But with that said, if you have not watched Beanpole, you should probably get out of here if you care about spoilers. But if you don't care about spoilers or you've already seen the film, go ahead and stay. Either way, how it goes, this is your one and only spoiler warning, and it is in effect in a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Today's episode of the Nerd Court is brought to you by SeatGeek. Whether you want to see your favorite band, sports team, or comedian, SeatGeek has you covered. We're proud to be partnering with SeatGeek to offer you $10 off your first order with code TheNerdCourt. That's $10 off your first order at SeatGeek.com with code THENERDCORPS. So take a seat at your next live event with SeatGeek. Thank you. Now let's get back to today's video. All right, Brad. I'm going to be reading combination between Kino Lorber as a site and the Wikipedia page. So let me go ahead and do this thing. This is from KinoLorber.com. This is from their Blu-ray release. So it goes as in post-World War II Leningrad, two women, Iya and Masha, astonishing newcomers, Victoria, oh my god, Miroshnichenko and Vasilisa Perlinya, intensely bonded after fighting side by side as anti-aircraft gunners attempt to readjust to a haunted world. As the film begins, Ia, long and slender and towering over everyone, hence the film's title, works as a nurse in a shell-shocked hospital, presiding over traumatized soldiers. A shocking accident brings them closer and also seals their fates. The 28-year-old Russian director Kantemir Balagov won unsung regards Best Director prize at this year's Cannes Film Festival for this richly burnished, occasionally harrowing rendering of the persistent scars of war. And 2019 Russian drama film directed by Kantemir Balagov. It premiered in the certain regard section of the 2019 Cannes Film Festival. At Cannes, Balagov won the certain regard Best Director award and the Film Critic award for Best Film in the certain regard section. It was selected as the Russian entry for Best International Feature Film at the 92nd Academy Awards, making the December shortlist. The film was inspired by Svetlana Alexievich book War's Unwomanly Face, which I'm sure if I look it up, it's probably not going to be available, just like Takeshi Kitano's Kubi that I tried to look for. Written and directed by Kantemir Bologov, and also written by Alexander Tarkov. Produced by Alexander Rodyansky, Sergei Milkov, and Natalia Gorina. Stars Victoria Miroshichenko, Vasilisa Perlinya, Andrei Byukov, Igor Shirkov, and Konstantin Balekrev. Cinematography is done by Senya Sereda and edited by Igor Litnyotsky. Music is done by Yevgeny Galperin. Yeah, bro. I'm so sorry, guys. And and it sits at a running time of 2 hours and 10 minutes. And it made $2 million at the box office. Box office.
Box office. Because
Yeah.
you get the bucks there.
Yeah, I'm really sorry, guys. I don't know how to read Russian, and I don't know how to pronounce these names, but I also don't just want to pronounce skip over them because they're foreign names. So I try my best.
That's what they're kind of very important for the making of this movie.
Yeah. Yes, you did. Sounds like a rolled up newspaper in the face is coming. Great. Now he's insulted his Russian bot viewer crowd. Who's gonna steal our personal information now? Who knows, Stacy?
Yeah, mine's already stolen, so I don't care.
Yeah. Ask my brother about that.
Yeah, I don't care.
Brad, this is the second time I've watched this film, so I'm gonna go ahead and turn it over to you, Brad. Brad, what are your initial thoughts on Beanpole?
Do you know how I know this was a Raoul pick? Because in the first 30 minutes, I'm very depressed. I feel like I've walked into the theater next to Grave of the Fireflies, in between that and Ivan's Childhood. And I've just gone on this series of, in the first 30 minutes of what the fuck, man.
Waste no time, huh?
Waste no damn time. In that time, we see you know, this woman who has this affliction where I'm calling it like stone disease, or I don't know what the term for it is, but she can't like move. She has PTSD of some sort, and it's a medical condition where she just can't move, and she ends up smothering what we believe to be her own child, and it gets much worse after that. I'm like, this is the worst it could be, and no, no, it's not. So this movie is I don't want to say hard to watch because I don't think because it's a very well made movie. It's very well done. It's a beautiful the cinematography is beautiful. The actresses and the actors in this, for me not speaking Russian, they're phenomenal. Just their faces and just everything about them. I think they did very well. And yeah, this is a great movie. I mean, it is one of the more depressing movies I've ever watched in my life, but it is oddly great.
Um, Brad, I wanted to go with this movie because but we entered his film comedy category at Con.
I know it's like the bear in a comedy category at the Emmys. It's like what the fuck.
Yeah. Um, I selected this one because well, we finished Tarkovsky, and to be honest, we haven't really seen a lot of modern Russian films. We've
No.
pretty much stuck to this one director who is probably the most foundational Russian director you can ever see, and he's honestly one of the greatest directors of all time, and you know yeah. But we have never actually like sat down and discussed a modern, contemporary Russian film,
No.
and especially from somebody who lived in the last I believe, 2 years of the Soviet Union. So Kantemir lived. He was born in '91,
Hmm.
so he lived at what's it called? He lived in those final years, in the final year of the Soviet Union.
I feel like the Soviet Union, like, uh, it just what comes off with the cultural art from it.
Hmm.
It wasn't a happy place, or you never get this happy feeling. Like at least I've never seen. Like I mean, we watched all Tarkovsky. There's not an overly happy feeling through any of his movies. This movie, there's not a happy feeling. There's like one moment
Yep.
when she's twirling in the dress, and you see at the beginning she's happy, like she's free, and then that moment just is squished, and her past trauma comes back, her PTSD, and it's like you get this one moment where you're like, oh, this is beautiful. Like she's living in this moment. She's very, and then it just all collapses. She collapses,
Yeah.
and that's how I feel about a lot of these movies that take place within the time frames of the Soviet Union. It's like, was no happiness to be found?
No, of course not. Of course not. Um.
Like anywhere? I
Yeah.
mean, even the rich seemed quite dreadful of everything.
Yeah. But like, I had to say this. Second time watching this movie, I still think this movie is fucking masterful, and I think it's as great as it was the first time I watched it. Um. I love so much about this movie. I think the cinematography is incredible. I think the is beautiful. I think that, I love the way that Kantamir uses colors like red, green,
Green.
and
It
it.
because we're used to the grays of
Yeah.
Tarkovsky.
So like this, just it looks really beautiful, but there's like it's a very harrowing beauty because it's like underneath all that beautiful lighting, it's these people who are just living through some of the worst moments of their life. Um.
And they don't stop. These worst moments, they don't stop.
Yeah.
And
And
it's like an onion of sadness. It just the
yeah.
layers continue to open because you're like, oh, they're nurses of some sort. They're
Yeah.
they're they're hospital staff attendants, and then
And
you realize that this doctor, you think it's just a doctor. He's asking this woman to end the lives of all these patients.
Well, it's like, some of them are actually like, some of them really want it,
Well, some of them
some,
are asking, and some of the like the
yeah,
last one she did, like he was a paraplegic, like
yeah,
he couldn't move anything from the neck down.
yeah. But I think that just the writing is great. I love, um, I know, I mean, I got it from the beginning that they were that yeah was kind of gay and that she was kind of into Masha. I kind of got that feeling from the beginning. Um, but I loved a lot of what Kantamir was doing with the writing here, and like talking about like class disparity and talking about what's like the women in the war, because it's like we don't really ever hear about that. You don't ever get movies about that.
No,
And you know if women, some of them weren't allowed to serve, but they were in the front lines and they were doing something other than serving.
they were being, I guess, the wives of the soldiers.
Wives, yep.
Yeah,
Because it's hard to say it, but like the soldiers are gonna get bored, and
and there's no
need
food.
there's no food. So what's it called?
Can I
Yeah.
just say that whole scene where she's talking to the possible future mother-in-law, which I don't even think
Oh
was
my
close to being
god.
a possible future mother-in-law,
Which was the lady who came over to see the soldiers.
and was giving them food and thanking them
Yeah.
and yada yada.
Which I don't even think felt like a genuine thank you, because it was just
No,
kind of like, oh, I'm just kind of here to do my job.
well, you had the guy who he had some. I mean, he took shrapnel to the brain. I think.
Yeah.
I think that's what happened, and she had him removed because he wouldn't stop clapping because he couldn't
Yeah.
stop clapping.
Yeah. Because bro, he's mentally fucked.
Yeah,
He can't.
he's got injured in the war, and this is him now. And
Yep.
it's like what the U.S. did with all our mental institutions. We just threw them into the dark and was like, okay, they're not
Yeah.
seen, so
Yep.
they don't exist. That's what she did, literally. It's like, here's some potatoes, get the fuck out.
Yakov Smirnov. Here to stay.
But I just loved you question whether she was going to stand up for herself, and she really did.
Yeah.
She came at that woman who had all this wealth, and she basically told her, "You would have never made it in the front line. You would
Nope.
have starved. You would have been eaten by wolves." Is basically what she said. She's like, "I survived. I'm stronger, and no matter what the fuck you say and what wealth you flaunt, you can't take that away from me.
Yeah.
And if we were outside, I would stab you." That's
Yeah.
basically what I was getting.
Yeah. And because it's like it's so easy to point the finger and judge someone, but it's like it's times of war where you are not getting food because your government is at war and there's not money to get food.
Yeah.
And you, especially if you're already a lower class citizen who isn't already super rich like your family, that family. What happened? Masha had to provide for herself the only other way that she could.
I mean,
And
she did what she needed to survive.
yeah, and it's just that's something that woman would never understand.
Yeah.
She's had it handed to her. She's had it there for all her life, and she's never had to fight for what she has. She gets the benefit off of it. And I love that moment so much, because like the mom keeps going into her and saying like, oh, you're basically calling you a whore, and that he's only with you because he's entertained by you right now. He'll get bored of
Mhm.
you and he'll leave you just like the other soldiers did. And it's like,
And to Sasha's credit, he fucking gets mad and walks out, but
yeah,
you knew that wasn't gonna last. She was the
no, it
mother.
wasn't.
I was like, wow, the dad is saying absolutely like basically nothing in this.
The only time he says something
You
is to
know who
shut the
runs this
door.
household. Yeah, you know who runs this household. So you
Yep.
knew that relationship was not going to go anywhere. And
No, it
I
wasn't.
think Masha knew when she got back. But again, this being the movie it is, Masha is not the hero of the movie either.
No, no, she's because like her child dies. Which, by
Pasha,
the way, like
Pasha,
if you know if you know that she has these fits where she freezes up, why are you leaving the kid in her care?
but maybe that was her only option.
Maybe it was
Let's
her only
a kid
option.
in the front line, probably not the greatest fucking
No,
thing,
it
man.
probably isn't. But like,
That was probably her best. I mean, she does didn't sound like she had any family, so that
no,
was her best option at the time. And unfortunately, what happened, and
yeah,
you can't blame is it Isla Aya
yeah, yeah,
Aya. You can't blame Aya because you're watching it, and at first I'm going like I didn't realize she had these ticks, But I'm
Yeah.
watching it again, and then you realize, like, oh, like she didn't mean to smother this. She just,
No, she had a fit.
yeah,
Yeah. And it sucks because what's it called? Like you could tell that she really liked that kid.
yeah. And I mean, and her having to come out and say that was so difficult, and you know, Masha was so happy to see her and to see her child, and you know, we get Aya lying like the kid, and then Masha knew, like Masha knew at some point, just he's dead, isn't he? And that's like it
Yeah.
just fucking just a shot through the heart.
Yeah. But there's also the movie has this like really sense of like, oh, like I want to start over, and they think that starting over is with like having a child, and like it's I don't know
I,
how
and
you think that, like knowing what your
which
country just went through,
yeah,
and
which it's like I get it. It's the grief. She
yeah,
has a lot of grief. She has a lot of trauma, and she really wanted a child. She had a child,
yeah,
and now she doesn't have a child, and it's really difficult. But to basically guilt your best friend into, and then blackmailing the doctor she works for
mm-hmm,
to rape her, because that's
yep,
what that was. There was
it
no
was
enjoyment on either party there,
no.
from
I,
what we
I
saw.
would I would kind of say that both of them were raped. What, like the doctor's forced to do that to her, and the what's it called? And Iva is being forced for to have that being done to her.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's a hard watch. That scene in
Oh
particular
yeah.
is a hard watch.
When
Uh,
also because Iva's like, no, you have to stay with me. Like the only way I'll do this is if you're here with me.
and Iva is, I don't. There is something with Iva. She is a child.
Yeah.
She like there's an IQ there that's more of, I don't know, what a 13, 14-year old, maybe, if that.
Yeah.
And it's just a rough watch. And there, the scene where she goes back before the doctor moves away, and she's in his office, and she can't like take off her bra. That scene
Yeah.
is, again, another rough one to watch, but it's beautifully acted.
Yeah. Well, she wants to do everything she can to like make Masha happy, and
Well,
like
and it's not that she wants power over her,
she wants some power
because
over
she
her.
doesn't want Masha to leave.
Yep.
That's what that is.
But well, because she loves Masha.
Yeah.
Like she loves Masha. But Masha's response to her trauma is to to be angry and bitter and try to blackmail them.
Yeah,
And
and
it's like it just doesn't work like that.
I don't think Masha gets a clue on what she's doing and how wrong she is until she's presented with, she Iva might be dead.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Which fuck what a well shot sequence that is, and
Yeah.
edited too, because it's like all you hear is like, oh, somebody ran over a beanpole.
Yeah.
And you can't, and then they take the camera down. You can't really tell who it is
No,
underneath the
you see
train.
some blonde hair
Yeah.
and a jacket, but you can't really tell. And you just have
Yeah.
Masha running back.
Yeah. But oh, and I love the shot of Masha on the train when she gets on that train, and you have her in the window, and she's staring like kind of stone cold in first, and then
Yeah.
she starts like
Smiles.
smiling.
Which is a throwback to Iva and Pashka on the train.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I mean, it's a quite, those shots on the train is pretty beautifully shot,
Yeah.
because you're at the back of the trolley, and what you get is you get Pashka smiling, and then at the end you get his mother smiling.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's an incredible film, Brad. I think that it's harrowing. It's really hard to watch it
It's a
sometimes.
it's a rough watch.
It's a really rough watch.
Not for what was made, just for the story.
Yeah. It's really rough. It's really rough, but I think that it's an incredible film. I think that this I think that it's like one of the best Russian films I've seen. Um, and God, I just wish that this guy would have been able to make his what's it called his well, he did make it, but they reshot that episode. But Kantamir was supposed to direct the pilot for The Last of Us, and he shot that pilot.
I wonder what that looked like.
But there was a
I'm
lot of
thinking
creative differences. There was a lot of creative differences between him and Craig Manzin,
Yeah.
and then Manzin ended up taking up, the directing duties of that episode. But apparently, like a lot of his footage is used in that final cut of that first episode. It's just, yeah, I really would have been interested to see, what that episode entirely looked like.
I'm sure probably by the end of it, both me and you would have been in pain
Yeah,
mentally.
yeah. Well, I'll be honest, man. I'm pretty sure that what's it called? That Joel's daughter's death would have been a little different. Would have hit a little harder.
Yeah, I probably would have hit a little harder.
Even though it hit really hard in the sun
But
in the show.
like, after seeing this, it would have.
Yeah, yeah,
I would have probably had to pause and go walk outside and breathe a little.
yeah.
Like,
An incredible
yep,
movie, man. I think it's an amazing film, and I really do. When I first watched it, I watched it like what's it called? It was on a Discord, you know, so it wasn't what's it called in the best quality. Now I was able to sit back, watch a really nice quality uh version of it, and I'd say, man, this movie's fucking perfect. I think this movie's incredible. It's one of the best films I've seen, and one of the best war films. And yeah, it's just I think it's just a beautiful reminder. It's beautiful in a way because the end is where the hope starts. It's like, hey, where they realize like all we have is each other.
yeah, that's all we've ever had, really.
Yeah, yeah. So it's like it's such a really mundane film, but like the end is very hopeful,
Yeah,
and it sucks that everything to get to that point is so harrowing. You lost a child, you get sexually assaulted, what's it called, you find out you're infertile, and then the guy you're with, their family are a bunch of assholes, and you're the guy is probably not the best suit to be a father.
that was a kid. Let's be
Yeah.
like I don't care
He's a
what age.
dumbass
I don't.
kid,
Yeah,
bro.
I don't care what age he was. That was a kid. Like he had been the same age as her. She'd lived like so many fucking lives compared to him.
Oh yeah. So 9 out of 10, laugh out loud, family comedy film of the years of all years. 990. Yep, yep,
Yep,
yep,
yep, yep,
yep.
Stacy. Yep.
Brad, I'm giving this movie a 10 out of 10. Brad, what's your final verdict?
This is of course one of the more depressing movies I've ever seen, and for that, it still gets a 10 out of 10 because it deserves it.
Yeah. Will I be watching this anytime soon?
Nope.
Again,
It's
probably
like
not.
It's like Grave of the Fireflies. It's like every 7 to 8 years, I might rewatch that movie just to
Yeah,
feel.
yeah.
That'll be
Just to
this
make sure I
movie.
can still feel this emotion, right?
I still have something living inside.
Yeah,
It's like Ivan's childhood. This
yeah,
Grave of the Firefly. I'm sure Morris Paros is probably up there.
yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Just to feel something.
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
Just
Yeah,
yeah,
just to feel something.
just to feel fucking something.
Yeah. But yeah, man. Thank you guys so much for joining us. And as always, thank you. Been our review of Beanpole. As always, catch us on thenerdcore.com, Twitter at the nerdcore underscore, Instagram, Letterbox, TikTok at the nerdcore. We're on Patreon at patreon.com/the nerdcore. Discord link is in the description below, so you can talk to us about this film and other Russian films. Maybe there's more that you want to recommend to us. I always want to find more films from this country, so I would like to watch more of them. And I know he has another film that he's made called the Closeness Disnota, and I want to see that one. But and that one's also from fucking Kino Lorber. Kino Lorber distributed that one. He's also working on a new one because for a while it's just been those two films that he's made, and I was like, damn, bro, when the fuck is this guy gonna make another movie? But he's been working on his new one, so I'm excited. And Cantemir does stream on Twitch, so if you want to go watch him play, he streams what's it called, twitch.tv/Biagov, Biagov. Um, yeah, I don't understand a damn thing that he's saying, but yeah, he streams, Brad.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
everybody's got to have a hobby.
yeah, man. Well, I mean, he so when the war in Ukraine broke out, he fled Russia.
Yeah,
He moves to LA. So working in between films, you got a lot of free time. Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, yeah. He pretty much just plays fucking League of Legends and Dota 2, which is games that I don't play. But you know, yeah, that's just the way that is. But yeah, man. if you're on the YouTube channel, make sure you leave a comment, leave a like on the video, and subscribe to the channel. And make sure that you also click the notification bell so you don't miss a single episode that drops on the channel. And also, if you would please make sure you leave a 5-star review on the podcast app of choice, on your podcast app of choice, and make sure you're following us on that app. All of that is really helpful and helps us out a lot. Thank you to our patrons that make this possible. Without them, let's be honest, Brad, we're just not doing this the way we are.
No.
And we appreciate them for everything that they do for us. And of course, we want to thank our executive producer, Shane. Where can they find him, Brad?
You can follow our friend Shane at twitch.tv/XSRK or on Twitter at thrifted.il, or go by something from the Suppy God at dpop.com/Prison City Vintage.
Damn straight, man. And of course, we want to thank you guys so much for joining us. We'll be back Thursday on Patreon for our review of City of God. And then that drops on for everybody on Saturday at 12 p.m. Central Time. But for now, that's all we got. We'll catch you guys on the next one. Brad, send them out.
All right. Thank you, Raul, for being host as always. Thank you to Stacy for joining us once again in chat. Thank you to our listeners out there, our Patreon supporters. We appreciate each and every one of you. And to end this episode, if the creepy guy next door tries to give you flowers, don't take them, don't accept them, don't move in with him, or run. Young Yoda out.